I'm here with Kyle Prepolec, UFC veteran, MMA powerhouse, and Canadian warrior. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. It's finally you're a fellow Canadian, so you know it's a pretty long spring and the weather's starting to get nice. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. Thank God. Finally. Finally.
you're out in Windsor, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is it like out there?
Right now we finally passed like a few days of just like overcast and rain. So
Yeah,
today is actually real nice. Like it's a perfect day to be outside doing your
awesome.
thing. It's not too humid. Yeah. So it's nice.
Finally able to do some road work and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can finally be outside instead of being stuck on a treadmill inside, which is nice. So way better. Way
How
better.
how's the training going?
Just getting Yeah, actually, just getting back into it. I had after the fight, I was like, I'm gonna take a little time off, and then went on my buddy's bachelor party at New Orleans. It was actually super hot there, and we ended up doing almost 30,000 steps per day, just walking around
Oh
seeing
shit.
things. Yeah, which I didn't expect, but hey, that's some kind of work, I guess. But
Work some of the cocktails off, eh?
oh yeah, all their fancy drinks. I like their fancy espresso martinis they have there. They have like a slushy version. It's pretty bomb.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah, it was nice.
Speaking about the fights, UFC 315, man. That's actually my first UFC event, man. That was crazy.
Oh, nice. That's sweet. Good for you, dude. Hell yeah.
So what is it like, man, being like under the pressure with the lights and stuff like that? Because like, I think it's Floyd Mayweather says like you know, some people when the lights turn on, they're just a different fighter. Some crack, some, him, he says that, like some people might beat me in the gym, but when those lights come on, he's a different fighter there. And that's obviously a huge paraphrase, but what is it like, man, like compared to like say Bellator or your other organizations you fought in to be on the UFC card?
Um, it's it's a surreal moment because it's when you think about it and break it down, it's the same as everywhere else, but it's not. It's like you because of how big the UFC is, it's the original, it's the king
Yeah.
platform, the one that started it all. And it's like you say those three magical letters like the UFC, it's like everyone knows what that is worldwide. They're like, "Oh, yeah, UFC cage fighting, like the best of the best go there," type of thing. So, um for me it's like, the views, the eyes, the numbers just increase.
Hmm.
Fighting under the lights, I think because I didn't have as much, like this is my second time on a short notice.
1 week, man.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
You're
like
literally
it's
probably like Evan Donald Cerrone, one of like the top guys for short notice fights.
yeah, like literally two of my three fights were under the 6 days notice, like or 6 days notice and under. It's like, what are we doing? we're it's like, man, this is sweet, but at the same time, man, it's like, we're a little crazy for doing this. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, like I said, it's a surreal moment. It's not only the views go up, the lights, everything. You're just like, man, you feel, your hard work and everything you've dreamed for or worked for is paid off, and then you just got to keep doing what you did to get there, and just amplify that. That way you can stay there. So that's the next goal.
And how do you find like say along the path like it's the highest of highs, lowest of lows. How do you feel like to stay motivated and disciplined and in moments where sometimes it doesn't go your way, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. How do you feel to stay that motivation and discipline?
It's definitely a lot more discipline. I feel like you get motivation like even after whether you win or when you lose. It's because sometimes when people win, they get a little bit ahead of themselves and they think,
100%.
oh, I'm good and I can just get away with whatever. I can just maybe not train as hard for this camp because like I overdid it and I won too fast, or who knows what it could be. But it's
All the time.
you got to stay almost, you got to stay in your lane, know where you're at, but also keep working hard because you can't underestimate anybody at this level, because
Yep.
it doesn't matter. Like, I know there's all these people online who are like, whoever, as an example, like people now are probably like, oh, Sean O'Malley's a bum, he's done. It's like, bro, he lost to the best guy twice, the best
Yep.
guy, probably the future GOAT, probably
Yep.
probably. and people are, you'll see in the comments probably today, oh, Sean O'Malley's a bum. He's done. He should just stop. It's like, man,
And a
like
couple of fights
why?
ago, they're probably the guys saying Sean O'Malley's the next GOAT. Sean O'Malley's,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So it's like, you got to always stay disciplined and, uh,
There's no MMA math, eh? It doesn't matter. Like, there's no MMA math, but what would you say like kind of separates, say, the good and the elite fighters? Since you've been in kind of every stage, you're a vet now. What would you say is the difference between the good and the elites?
the good are they're, as an example, they're good everywhere, but not excellent anywhere, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Whereas an example, I'll even use my fight with Benoit. I thought he would be a better striker, but it was his grappling and the little things in the grappling where I was like, oh, this is the next level of grappling. I got to be very careful here. And then, I know exactly where I did like my error, and I was like, man, why did I do that? And I just got into my own mind, was like, oh, I'm gonna show him what's up and beat him at his own game too, which was bad on my part, but live and learn. But yeah, it was for Benoit. It was his grappling, like he was like he was strong, but not. I don't mean like a brute. It was more he was so positionally and technically strong,
Yeah.
where it's like obviously you saw the first round. I was able to defend. I'm like, I'm just chilling, protecting my neck. It was literally like an inch game. I'm trying to turn my back into the cage, and
Yep.
anytime I got my foot up to try to stand up and turn my back more, he would like tweak my foot out and press it like extend it out so I didn't have a base. And then he would try to get behind me, and then it's like, oh, we got to keep shimmying, and it was just one of those grueling little things. So whether if you're educated like in grappling or any of that stuff, you're like, dang, that sucks to be in, or it's like,
Yeah.
if you're in the stands, you probably heard, there's people booing, and it's like, man,
But they
don't
don't
boo.
know.
This guy's is a killer. He's like, if I make one wrong move here, he's gonna kill me. I can't let
That's
that
it,
happen.
man. It's like those. I'm pretty sure. Like I got the seats I could get at the time. The people beside me, like I don't get why they just don't get up. I don't remember what fight it was on, but I was like, they don't even understand. Like it's
Yeah, it's like, and that's one of my like strong like attributes is like if someone tries to even take me down, I'm able to get up
yeah.
or
You're a
fully.
wrestler in high school and stuff too, eh?
Yeah, so like I want to use my wrestling not only to counter wrestle, but also to use it to stand up, strike, and take people down. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to be taken down. Like if it happens, it happens. But like, yeah, it's just like I said, those little things that Benoit did was very elite.
Yep.
Where there's other grapplers where I'm like, get off me. This is easy. I can just stiff arm you away, like how Jose Aldo does it,
Yeah.
and that's like, yeah, get out of here. For him, I'm like, man, this guy's a backpack, and I need to like be very careful with what I do.
Cool, man. So you say with like UFC now, like how much has changed with you being a UFC vet, and how much has kind of changed in terms of like how important branding is now, if that kind of makes sense, like selling the fights, and how do you think that has an effect on like how fighters' personas and how the up and comers are coming up now from like before?
I think like a lot of these guys, I think once they find their thing,
Hmm.
it'll be better because we there was a little funky time in MMA where everyone was trying to be like McGregor because they're like, well, if I'm
Yeah.
like McGregor, I'll make a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, because like look at Alex Pereira. The guy doesn't even really say much other than chama, and the
Yeah.
guy's like, and everyone's like, ah, like they're going
Yeah.
crazy. Like he doesn't, and then he'll say a few words where he's like, come to daddy. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
he's gonna say those things, like very like little one-liners and do things like that. And then like we'll probably won't have another Connor for a while, or like a
Yeah,
Chael.
I think he's a generational fighter in terms of like branding and a lot of things
Yeah,
for
so I
sure.
think like once people find like their niche and let themselves like just go into their own character to be themselves, that's where everything will not only help market them, like because look at
It's
Marab, this high
authentic.
energy. Yeah, you got to be authentic. Like you can kind of tell when things are forced
Man, I think
on
like
certain
every
people.
press conference when McGregor was going off, I think everyone was wearing sunglasses at them.
Yeah, they're all doing the same thing. Like they're like look at even Ilya Tapora. They're following his like moves, right? Not like to a T, but he's
Yeah,
following. Hey, I'm gonna wear the suits. I'm gonna talk smack. I'm gonna just predict all these things. He's emulating his style, but for Ilya.
that's cool, man. And would you say that there was what was the moment where you're like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm gonna be a fighter. I'm going in on this." Because
Um,
it's one of those things, man. It's all passion.
yeah, oh, it has to be like
Like
it's not.
it's you're not there for the money, man.
Yeah, the money is a big bonus because like there's a lot of people who don't make it but still love every part of it, and that's how you have to be. Because like if you're just going in just for like the money, it's good to have that like be business smart with it as well, but
Yep.
you can't think you're gonna make the millions like McGregor. There's only one
Nope.
McGregor. There's only one
Exactly.
GSP Jones.
Once you pay your camp, your managers, things like that, like a lot of these people, they're almost working for free. It's just a passion and, wanting to be the best.
Yeah, a lot of that, and then yeah, eventually, then it becomes like good bonus money that you do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it has to be. Um, like I said, there's only a few guys that make like like Mayweather, Jones, those guys. Like you got to be passionate. You have to love it. Um, you got to think of the money as like the bonus. And like you said, it's to be the best. It's passionate and like, and then when you become the best, like look at like Volkanovski and Marab, like
Yeah.
construction workers, whatever else they were doing, and
Yep.
now look, the top of the world, right? Like it was their passion, but they still do what they do, right? Like
Speak about awesome marketing of authentic marketing, eh? Volk's freaking have you seen his social media stuff? His
oh,
like old his old man like
yeah, genius.
videos, they're so good.
He's genius, and like what was it? Like he has like a huge YouTube cooking channel too. Like it's crazy. Like and then people are like, oh, I didn't know you fought in the
I
UFC
saw
because
that,
they're
yeah.
following his channel.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
man, that guy was actually probably one of my favorite fighters, actually.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
how do you hate the guy? He's just a G. Like, he's happy go lucky, and he's got his own little quirk thing, being, oh, I'm the old guy. I'm gonna roll with it, and then,
Tough as
uh,
nails,
yeah, like there's not many guys like him left.
left. 100%. Yeah, man, 100%.
But yeah, I would say when I was younger, when I was playing hockey back with the Red Wings, I wanted to get stronger, be better. And, my parents were like, you should do boxing like Darren McCarty because that's how he got strong. And,
Yeah.
back in the day, he was just a unit. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I want to get stronger. I want to be a better athlete and better hockey player. And you know what? I'll do this. Started training and I'm like, yo, this is way better. This is it. Like, this is the thing. And then, you know, uh, life gets in the way a little because my parents were like, well, if you want to do this, like, you need a job, you need a car, you got to do this and that. And I'm like, and then after I got all that, they're like, no, we don't want you fighting because it is scary for not only your friends, but for your parents. It's like, like why would you want to do this? And it's like, well, I don't know. I just like it. I
Yeah.
love it. Like, but, yeah. And then once that happened, I was like, you know what? I'll join a high school sport. And I was like, I'll do wrestling and then here we are. So
Yeah.
I all followed the steps and yeah, I'm here now. So
If you had one thing for like say an up and coming fighter to, get in the game now, what would you recommend to them to do?
I would definitely recommend them to for sure do if you're gonna pick, let's say you have to do two things. If you're gonna pick striking, I would probably pick boxing just for, the quick hands, the get in shape, the distance control, because that is the huge and like the footwork, that is the huge thing in MMA that I think people are realizing now, maybe, and wrestling, just because if we look at like statistically, like every champion has a very good ground game. Even if their wrestling is like, let's say out of their like 10 points, they got 7 points in jits and they're like really high level and they got, a level 3 wrestling. That they're all around grappler. Like look at the example of Paddy Pimblett versus Chandler. Chandler, amazing wrestler,
Yep.
phenomenal, one of the best. And then Paddy Pimblett made him look like an amateur just because he was an overall better grappler everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it. Be a good boxer, be a good wrestler, just for that whole aspect, and then once you do that, start meshing, the Muay Thai, start meshing the Jiu-Jitsu, put it all together, and then become a unit.
Would you say usually this podcast is geared towards business, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Would you say volume over like would you say experience, like get the fights in, or would you say take longer camps and sort of thing?
I would say for when you're just starting, make sure you have like a good coach, a good team, people that actually like care about you, not just be like, yeah, get in there and then we'll see how you do. And then if you do well, I'll take care of you. It's
Yeah.
there's people like there's some gyms and people that
Yeah,
are like that. They'll just
100%,
start you,
man.
but it's they need to, like I said, have that good coach. After good 6 months, if they're training full time, if they're training like part time, I would say a year. But if they're in like this is my goal, this is my dream. I want to see how far I can go and do it as best I can. Between 6 months to a year, do a bunch of grappling tournaments, do a bunch of like smoker fights, do boxing fights, kickboxing fights, Muay Thai, whatever, and then do some MMA fights. I would say get that experience in that amateur level as fast as possible, within reason, of course. Like, don't do it like every weekend. Be smart, grow, learn, and as you progress into like the professional level, then try to get 3 to 4 fights per year, and then
Okay.
as the stakes get higher, be smart and calculated with who are we going to match up with? Are we going to go do this event, or are we going to go to this event because it pays more, but we're not fighting as good of an opponent? Or are we going to fight someone for not as much pay, but if we beat this guy, we go to the UFC? So it's like you got to take the pros and cons with it. So fighting now, because of what stage it's at, because it's still so young, where before it's like you just had to beat a tough guy or a
Yeah.
former UFC guy. Now it's okay. We can get on the Contender Series. We go on the Ultimate Fighter. We go on Dana White's looking for a fight, like wherever they are in their event. Or you gotta have a really good highlight reel, or be ready to step up short notice, like I did, like and still like fight good opponents and have like good highlight reels. You can't be like a boring like athlete. You have to be marketable. You have to have something that they like to see. So not only do you have to be a great athlete, you have to be, you have to have some type of business sense, and you also have to have a good marketable approach.
Yeah, man, for sure. That's great. So it's not like Muay Thai where you're like doing 340 fights in a year or something like that. It's
Yeah, no, if you're doing Muay Thai and you're doing that, you just stay with that and
yeah.
just be the king.
Cool, man. So we'll end this off. I'm not gonna take too much of your time, dude. We're on a Sunday. I do appreciate you coming on. But what
Oh
we'll
man,
do
I
is
I
we'll,
appreciate you for being
we'll
patient and getting this through with me.
oh man, it's been great. I'll finish this off with a quick little rapid fire questions, and then we'll end it at that.
All right, let's do it.
All right, man. We'll start us off. All right, what's your dream fight? Your dream fight opponent?
Dream fight opponent? Oh man, damn, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. See, right now, I'll go with what I want right now. I want to work my way back up, get to the top rank, and I want to see where Benoit is, and eventually try to get a rematch.
Beauty, beauty. Hey, what would be your favorite cheat meal?
Oh, damn, that's good. Honestly, I like one of our local restaurants slash bars. I love the chicken wings they have there because they have a great deal, and they're fat, juicy with bomb flavors. So at Loose Goose, their chicken wing deal, top tier,
Yeah.
top tier.
There's no sponsorship, by the way. It's
No, no, no. This is like pure from the heart.
yeah. Who would you say from sparring opponents, whose hits the hardest?
Who hits the hardest? Other than like Nordine, because that guy was the first guy ever to put me down with kicks, like leg kicks.
Yeah.
Um, I remember sparring Josh Emmett, and I'm like, damn, this guy hits
Uh,
hard.
yeah.
A long time ago. This was back in 2017 when I went there. I was to train a team alpha male with my buddy TJ, and
Yeah.
I was like, we're sparring these guys. It's like, oh, it's boxing sparring. I'm like, okay, sick. And then they're like, oh, Josh is getting ready for a fight. He needs a southpaw. I'm like, oh, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know who he was at the time. Like I knew of him, but I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
And then I go and spar him. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, yo, this guy's a beast. I'm like,
Yeah.
this guy's hitting me so hard. I'm like, yo, this feels like a fight. I'm about to start fighting. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Dude, some of the sparring sessions that I've seen there, most of them do look like fights, man. They get into it. You get like
That's what I'm
TJ
saying.
there
I'm
or
like,
Cody Garbrandt and
yeah, I'm like, damn. I'm like, this is how hard they go. I'm like, I thought y'all was friends. Damn.
yeah. And two more. Second one is one book or podcast that's kind of like change your perspective on like just life mindset, things like that, if you have one or
Oh,
one that comes to your head.
the one with Mike Tyson, where he was talking about himself being like the monster and holding back the monster in him and all that. That was deep. I was like, yo, I feel what he is saying because of how emotional and how much of a beast he is. Like,
How much that guy's changed, eh?
yeah,
From
like
where he was then, just like to the like soft guy he is now, and like
yeah, when he's vocalizing it, he's he wants
raw
it to come
emotion.
out, but it's just pure raw emotion. That when I was listening to that, I'm like, damn, damn. And even the other one where I think he was on a podcast, not his podcast, where he's like, if they say those who are favored, by God, you're also favored by the devil. And I was like,
Yeah,
damn, that's deep.
that was a crazy one.
Yeah. So
That was a
those
crazy
both Mike
quote.
Tyson,
Yeah. Fuck. All right, the last one, man. Who's the GOAT?
GSP.
GSP, nice. Canadian, got to keep it Canadian, eh?
Like overall, for sure, I would say GSP. But I like if I went per like let's say division, I would have to say like Fedor for heavyweight. Like he's the OG. That guy
Yep.
was he's the goat. Light heavyweight would obviously be Jones.
Yep.
Middleweight Anderson.
Yep.
Welterweight GSP. Lightweight I think is Islam now.
Okay.
Um, Featherweight Jose Aldo and I think like Volkanovski and Ilya just because of you know what I'll say Connor too because Connor did some crazy things like in those things like for their own reasons.
Yep.
35 Dominic Cruz and
Oh, wow.
125 Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Marab will probably be the goat soon. So
Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on. That was awesome.
yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you from being patient. Like I said, with this crazy schedule. So
All right,
yeah,
buddy.
thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, thank you. You have a good day.